Okay, welcome back everybody. So it's Thursday, 7:45 a.m. and it's 0 degrees.
Oh.
Okay, so what we got going on here, I actually forgot to make a video about this, but the tire on the Malibu went flat and I forgot that it has the built-in wireless TPMS sensors, you know, tire pressure management system sensors from Chevy, and I tried to pump some slime into it before I aired it back up and it clogged the sensor and it wouldn't take any air. So it took me a few weeks until I got around to changing the tire, and the tire had actually gone bad. So we put a new tire on, but this car does not have a jack or a spare. And when this thing sits on the ground, it sits really low. And unfortunately, this is the only jack I have. This is the jack out of the Navigator. And even when I lower this thing all the way down, there's not enough room to put it under this car. So what I had to do is I had to drive the car. So what I had to do is I had to drive the car up onto these ramps with the flat tire so that I had enough room to get the jack underneath it. And then, so I had to leave it up in the air when I went into Flagstaff. So it's sitting on 2 jack stands. I put 2 under there just to make sure, and it's sitting on the ramp on the other side, just to make sure it didn't fall off. But that's what happens with these new cars, you know, they don't give you a spare. So something as simple as a flat tire, if you can't get air into it, becomes a whole issue. So I had to actually take the wheel off and take it to Flagstaff. So we got a new tire, so now I'm going to jack the car back up, put it back, the ramp back underneath it, take the jack and the jack stands out from under it, and then lower it back down, and I'm done. And then I will drive to town in the next week and put another tire on this front. And the reason why is I noticed that right here, there's a plug in it, and I don't want Sue driving around on a plug tire. So I'll keep this as a spare though, as an extra. Not a spare, I have to get a whole nother wheel and jack and everything, but I'll keep it as an extra wheel. I might work on getting a spare tire set up for this car. And luckily, the back tires are almost brand new. So it's been cold. It's stayed below freezing almost the whole time for the last 3 days. So as you can see, not much has melted off, and you can see my tire tracks here where I drove the Navigator over to my neighbor's. So I'm over here with my generator. As you can see, I built a cover that I can just remove easily by just lifting it off. So what this does, it keeps the generator free of snow, and you would be amazed. I had the cover off of this thing earlier for just a couple of hours in the middle of the night, and there is ice all over the frame of the generator right now, the plastic frame, and it still hasn't melted. It's that cold. The good thing is when you run a generator, you know, a lot in the extreme cold, and when it's not using very much of its power, it's kind of like letting a car idle when it's cold outside. It doesn't really do a whole lot to it. I mean, you know, that's why cop cars are usually in such good shape, is because they spend so long just sitting there idling. So right now we're using about 25% power from the generator. So it will run for about 12 hours on a gallon and a half of gas. This is my wet bay. This is where all my plumbing and everything is. I run an electric heater in here. This electric heater runs 700 watts, and I have it pointed at my water pump. Okay. Look at that. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to open that all the way. Okay, so this is my bay where my fresh water is. So the thing to do to keep something like this warm, and notice how I have a 40-watt light bulb and I have it pointed right up at my plumbing for the water tank. And then the other thing to do to keep it warmer inside your bay, keep the water tank full, okay? Most of the time that water is going to stay above freezing. So let's say the water is at 34, 35, maybe 38 degrees. That's still going to help because it's 70 gallons. It's going to help keep it from freezing down here. So because it's going to be colder this winter than last winter, I'm actually going to install a diesel heater inside my basement, and I'm going to keep it turned on extremely low. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep my entire basement heated, keep it up around 60 degrees. That'll also help to keep the whole inside of the RV warmer because heat rises, okay? And I don't have to worry about my plumbing then. There's not too many ways to heat a basement and heat all your plumbing and everything when you're in this extreme of temperatures. I could put a skirt here that goes from the RV down to the ground. But the problem is I'm just inviting a home for rodents and even. So for those of you who are wondering how much we spend on propane and gasoline, so the total amount of propane and gasoline that we went through last year, and the prices are about the same, was about $500 a month as an average. As cold as it has been the last few days, it would probably be more like $750 to $800 a month in how much we're using. So for those of you who are saying, wow, that's so expensive, I can't imagine spending that much. Well, first off, we own everything. We own everything we have out here. We have no bills. We have no payments. So, you know, you could easily in the wintertime spend $800 a month at an RV park for space rent and utilities. So I look at it like this. If I looked up in the paper and found for $700, $800, or even $900 a month, even $1,000 a month, if I found for $1,000 a month somebody who was renting a 10-acre property with a 36-foot RV on it that you got to rent and a shipping container, and all of the fuel and water was included, all you had to do was just go get the propane and get the gas and get the water and put it in yourself. That's it. $1,000 a month. I would take that all day long to have 10 acres to yourself. You could do whatever you want with. This is outside the city, off-grid. Where else could you even find an off-grid property that is all-inclusive, that includes all the fuel and everything for $800 a month? And that would be the most extreme expense I have right now in my old configuration with dead batteries and no decent heat in the basement. So I thought I'd just give you a quick update on a couple of things while I'm having a cigar. It's very cold here, so the high during the day for the last 3 days has only been just barely above freezing. So not any, I mean, as you can see, behind me, no snow has melted at all. It's too cold. I really don't feel like standing outside in the cold and the wind smoking my cigar, so I just sit in the car. Usually I run it with the heat on, but I'm not doing that right now because I'm sitting here making this video and it'd be too loud. There's Scout with me and little homie. He decided he wanted to come too. Isn't that right, bud? Yep. So to give you a quick update on what is going on with the lithium battery install, our Power Queen batteries. Well, we have decided to up the size of the project significantly. Basically, I had to really stop and ask myself, what would be the ultimate amount of power that we would have that would suffice? And that would be five of those 100 amp hour lithium batteries. So I believe in Power Queen and I believe in their product so much so that we bought 3 more of the batteries with our own money. For those of you who don't know, this is my one big daily treat. I have one cigar every day. And these are bargain version Rocky Patel cigars. Those of you who smoke cigars, who have tried Rocky Patel, you know what I'm talking about. Look at that, that's beautiful. Look at the sun with the rays coming across the, oh man, that is just majestic. Look at that.